Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Capricorn. So, Capricorn, as usual, I'm doing this reading with my own tarot deck, so the cards that you see are from this deck. So, Capricorn, let's talk about a very life changing experience for you. The sort of experience that I would describe as a near death experience, although it doesn't have to be literally that, but it has the context of you surviving something that it was like a very close call. It was a very uh it's like you were very close to really having your life at risk, or you didn't even know that you were in a potentially very dangerous situation, but it's like you were just out of it's like the most dangerous place. It's like you were saved essentially, right? But it's interesting because you're coming through with a very settled energy, with a very peaceful energy, which is odd. Not to you, I don't want to say that you were, you know, stranging all of this, but in a way, those around you are just in shock, right? It's like they cannot believe their eyes, they cannot believe what they have just witnessed. But you know that you have received guidance straight from your heart, and I'm going to show you why. But you know that following your heart was going to guide you to the right location. And that's because we're beginning here with the Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles to me shows the right place, the right time, most of all, the right place, right? But specifically in this message for you today, I want to say that going to this place was not something that you planned before or something that you have thought about too much, right? It was almost like this last minute decision because you're showing up with the King of Cups, and this is where your guidance comes from. So, following your heart is almost like a matter of survival, but you don't know about that consciously, at least not until everything unfolds, right? Until you are in, it's like in your rightful position, I want to say, because it's almost like you didn't see this coming. It's not like you, it's not like you went to a dangerous place, looking for trouble. Not like that at all. It's almost like you decide to go to a specific location just because your heart is telling you, and then right beside you there is like this massive accident or this car crash or whatever it is, and it's like you're just there right beside it, right? It's like if you moved a few meters this way or that way, it's like you could have been in that accident, but somehow your heart positions you, places you in the perfect spot for you to miss that, for you to um, go by that unharmed, right? So basically, you're saved, but your reaction is one of calm and peace. And, I'm remembering and reading that evoked this message of an out of body experience. I can't remember the sign that it was for, but it's a little bit like that, but it's not like you're completely out of body, that you detach from your reality. In fact, it's like you're so connected to your heart that you're more present than ever, and because of that it's almost like you don't even flinch, right? It's like you're exactly where you need to be, and because of that it's like you're unafraid. It's like your heart is, it's just at peace, right? It's like you're settled, you're exactly where you need to be, and you know that. But the funny thing is that there are others around, there are others that have witnessed that, and I want to say possibly people that are typically very skeptical or very rational, very logical. So if they weren't there, I want to say that they were going to have a hard time believing that you survived this, right? So it's almost like those types of videos that you see, like somebody saving a baby, or, those types of last minute situations. But I don't see that somebody is coming in to save you. I feel like you save yourself, Capricorn, because you know how to follow your heart. It's like you know how to follow that impulse that places you exactly where you need to be. So when you unflinching see that there are others in shock because of these two other characters, the Queen and the King of Swords, maybe they are together, maybe they are acquaintances, maybe they are people that are just like surprised to have been witness to what you have just gone through, right? I want to say that even though they're coming through as the same suit, right? So possibly they are, usually they have the same reaction to things. Maybe they have the same response to things. Maybe they have the same point of view. I want to say that they have different perceptions of what you have just been through, because you're coming through with the king, which is almost like the highest level of maturity, right? Or the highest level of sovereignty and wisdom, perhaps. The queen here, it's almost like she's looking to the king to, that reaction. It's almost like that instinctive reaction that we do. Is like when we cannot believe our eyes, like we look for others to confirm what we're seeing, right? So I want to say that this is the first impulse of this Queen of Swords. But because she's coming as the Queen of Swords, it's like this is the one that wants explanations for everything. This is the one that is making a dozen questions. It's like they cannot help themselves. It's like they're just like talking and talking and talking. Maybe they're the ones, saying we need to do this, we need to do that, and it's like they're just like a chat box, right? It's like they're just nonstop talking and talking and talking, like just not believing, right? The king, however, because it's like the same level of maturity, the same level of wisdom, even though they weren't the ones going through what you went through, Capricorn, it's like they resonate. It's like even though they don't have an explanation, even though they cannot, make sense of what just happened, at least not with their logical mind, right? It's like, yes, they can see that you were saved because you went exactly to the place that you needed to go. It's like if you explain that you just followed your heart to be that place, to be in that location, it's like they will accept that. The queen, however, it's like they're having a harder time with that. They just cannot accept that, right? It's like they need a logical explanation. The king, it's like in other circumstances, they would also want an explanation, but because they resonate with the level of maturity that you resonate with, that you are admitting, it's like your heart is, it's like you're, that's the thing. It's like you're so settled in your heart space that it irradiates outside of you, right? And maybe that's, it's almost like the buffer zone. It's like the bubble wrap that was around you, right? In order for you to not be in this car crash, not be in this accident, is because you were enveloped in love, right? Because you dared to follow your heart. And maybe that's the thing. So, because the cards that are coming next are almost like a process for this one, right? Especially the queen, but also for the king. So these ones are the ones that needed to be there witnessing you. So you are completely calm and serene, and yes, you were the one mostly in danger, but they're the ones having a hard time accepting what they saw, right? So this one is like the moment that you, It's like the moment that you share your heart, share your truth, they accept that truth. The queen, not so much. It's almost like they demand to know the truth. They demand to understand it, right? It's like they have this thirst to understand the truth, but it's coming from a different space than you're in. The king is closer to you. So maybe, okay, so maybe that's the thing. Maybe you know them, maybe they are friends, maybe they are relatives, maybe they are acquaintances, right, at a gathering or whatever, or even at work. But you're closer to the king and not so much to the queen. It's almost like the queen is attached to this king of swords, so it's like it's looking to this one to confirm the truth, and this one is looking to you. So it's almost like if the queen was in direct connection with you, it's like they would feel the love as well, but they are looking to the King of Swords. So here, the next row of three cards, it's all major arcana. So it's a very layered, a very clear layered reading today, Capricorn, for you, which suits your energy of being a very practical, earthy sign. So it's almost like you know that you needed to go somewhere, and then what happens when you're there? It's important for you, but you know that you are protected. You know that you are enveloped in love, and actually, maybe all of this is for those that are witnessing you, okay? Because you have the sun. If you look at the thumbnail, you'll see that underneath the King of Cups is the sun. So this is your energy. It's almost like you're very clear about all of this, right? It's like this. The word that is coming through with the sun is omnipresent. So I feel like it's almost like this divine light that is omnipresent, because maybe this is the buffer zone, the protection, right? The enveloping love that is all around you, that is preventing you from being hit or from being in the accident, overall, because you were exactly where you were supposed to be. So in a sense, it's like wherever you look, you are surrounded by light. Wherever you look, you are surrounded by love. These ones are searching for the truth, are trying to make sense, are trying to understand what they just saw. But because they just witnessed, it's like they cannot straight away feel what you felt, right? Being so close to that danger, to that accident, to whatever that was. And it's almost like you, even though, how do I explain this? It's like even though you're trying your best to shine your light over them, so not explaining with words, but rather just expanding your love so that it reaches them. And I do feel like the king picks up on this love, like this irradiating light that is coming from you. It's the type of thing that it doesn't require a logical explanation, because once you enter the realm of logic, your mind splits. The devil here is underneath the queen, right? So this is how mind-boggling it is for this Queen of Swords. She cannot understand what she just witnessed. She cannot explain, in a very linear way how you were saved. But it's almost like they are searching specifically for something that would, it's like that would make sense, because right now it's almost like there is a gap, right? There is a gap that it feels like it's almost like a blind spot, right? It's a blind spot. Oh my God, it's your blind spot, Capricorn, because of the sun. But for you, this is not a blind spot at all. Oh my God. Okay, so here it is. The thing about the disconnection between what you're feeling and what has protected you is almost like a trust in your heart that somehow they don't understand, they've never felt this, so they don't resonate, they don't recognize, they don't feel the same thing that you're feeling. So when you try to emanate all of this love and explain to these ones what just happened in your own way, not with what they are demanding to know, but with your expression of love, it's like your light blinds them. So it creates this blind spot that splits their mind, right? It creates, because here, usually I talk about this devil as one path that got cut or that got split. So this is their mind. This is their, it's not that they are not able to make sense of this. It's almost like they cannot see what is missing. They cannot see the omnipresence of this divine God light, is what I'm hearing, right? God light. It's like they cannot see God. So it's like that. If you were to put in a sentence, I'm surrounded by God light, they would only pick up, I'm surrounded by light. They cannot understand the word God, or it doesn't need to be the word God, but it's like they cannot process, their mind cannot process, because it's like they are fearful that it's going to be deceiving. So it's almost like this blind spot in their mind that just breaks the connection. So that's the reason why it's not making sense to this one. This one is, they are listening, they are resonating, but they also understand this one specifically because the last card here is the death. So the death is underneath the king, right? So I want to say that even though they don't feel the same thing that you feel, Capricorn, it's like they see this as a very significant threshold, and specifically because perhaps because they are so curious, because they are so wise, because they are so interested in learning more, because even though they are coming from a very skeptical mindset, or maybe a very a scholarly family, right? It's like maybe they are scholars, maybe they are teachers, maybe they are just very like traditional families, right? So this one, it's like they just follow the protocol, is what I'm hearing. This one, it's almost like they are an academic teacher. It's like they are a scholar, but they do also read stories about NDEs. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're both very it's like very cultured. It's like they read a lot, they are well informed and all of that. But the king also brings other stuff, maybe from the spiritual realm, right? Maybe from something else outside, reason and logic, that goes beyond that. And that's the reason why the death, or escaping death in this case, right? Surviving something, for them is not all that odd, is not all that weird, maybe because they have heard of near death experiences. So, what for this Queen of Swords, witnessing you surviving this or coming back from something that, you knew, it's like you were tranquil, you were okay, you weren't panicking, right? The Queen specifically is, it's almost like they are it's like they're blaming their side, they're blaming, whatever. It's almost like they are trying to find a way to explain this in a way that makes sense, but they can't. It's like there isn't something that adds up in a logical way, the way that they want. So for them is, it's hard, right? They are struggling to accept that. The King of Swords, not so much. It's like even though they're not exactly completely feeling this potency, right? The potency of this omnipresent surrounding light that you are emanating, it's like they have heard of that. They recognize that. They see the importance of this story, right? Or this moment in time. So overall, Capricorn, as I said, maybe this entire message is not exactly for you. You're just being the one who accepted to play the role of being in a specific location because you were, it's like you were the calmer one to go through that experience unflinching. And really, the purpose of this message, or the purpose of witnessing you, is for these ones to confront their taboos, is what I'm hearing, right? So this one confronting what they perceive as deceiving, or whatever is not adding up, right? Whatever is distorting their perception of the truth. And to the king is almost like dare to open more of this door, right? If maybe it's flipped, right, Capricorn? Maybe you're actually this one that is witnessing somebody go through a harsh experience, but surviving it, coming back from it, glowing, right? Glowing. But if you, or if this one, let's say if this is another, right? Just to continue the narrative, but if this King of Swords, who already opened, right, very slightly the door to other possibilities, right? Not necessarily logic or, reason, or, the academic studies, let's say, and go further. It's like they're going to open up a door to these very bizarre situations, maybe other NDE stories that are going to be revealing the truth, right? And as I said, also, because this one looks to the King of Swords in order to confirm the truth, it's almost like it's good that you and this king are resonating at least in one frequency, right? Maybe not like entirely, but at least a little bit, to the point that, maybe down the line the Queen of Swords is also going to benefit. And it's almost like it's going to be their way to stitching up this distortion, stitching up what was deceitful for this one, right? So not believing the truth even though they saw it with their own eyes. But it comes from the King of Swords, and because the King of Swords, in a weird way, um, in a small way, they are resonating with you, with what you are emanating, with what you are irradiating, right? So that's a very, very strange message. I mean, I don't remember reading that the message wasn't necessarily for the sign that I was reading for, but those that were witnessing you. So you were, it's like you were serving them, right? Their own process of transformation, and, their ability to undergo, it's like this change, right? From being skeptical to being believers in a sense. Um, Although this one is going to be the first one, right? Because they are more inclined to do that because they open the door, even like the smallest amount, but is what is necessary for them to go all the way in, because they saw now. It's not like something that they have read, right? They saw you. So, Capricorn, I'm going to pull more cards to see where this wants to go. And also, I'm going to pull from the astrological runes in the extended. So, if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find a link down below. If not, see you next time. Bye.